Hi, I'm Laura Michelle Kelly and you are watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome to the Broadway.com show, your weekly guide to everything happening on the Great White Way. Or as we like to think of it, the people who can exclusively reveal that Zayn Malik has rejoined One Direction. Just kidding, but happy April Fool's Day. Let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Imogen?
NBC, along with Cirque du Soleil and mega producers Craig Zidane and Neil Meron, will present a live broadcast of Charlie Smalls and William F. Brown's The Wiz on December the 3rd. And then, the Tony-winning tuna will ease on down the road to Broadway, with a musical hitting the main stem in the 2016-17 season. No word yet on casting, but Kenny Leon will stage both the TV production and Broadway revival in collaboration with Harvey Fierstein, who will contribute new material to the original book. Everybody rejoice.
What's the deal with Fish in the Dark? Well, Larry David is getting ready to leave the show, but the play is still a white-hot hit. So yada yada yada, Jason Alexander will replace David in an extended run. As everyone knows, Alexander played George Costanza on Seinfeld, a character based on none other than Seinfeld co-creator David. So if you still haven't seen the show, not that there's anything wrong with that, you can see it now with David or get tickets from June 9th through July 19th when Tony winner Alexander will play the lead. Win-win.
Six-time Tony winner Audra McDonald is headed to Hollywood as one of the stars of the live-action Disney film version of Beauty and the Beast. The gracious diva will play Garderobe, a former opera singer turned wardrobe. So basically, Madame de la Grande Bouche from the animated classic has a new name. The big-budget film, expected to kick off a whole series of new live-action adaptations of animated hits, is aiming to land in multiplexes in March 2017. Audra McDonald as a friggin' wardrobe? We can't wait to see the CGI on this one.
Pop R&B star Brandy Norwood will step into the Tony-winning Broadway revival of Chicago as Roxy Hart on April the 29th. The Grammy winner has sold more than 40 million albums worldwide, and her hit record, The Boy Is Mine, is the longest-running #1 song and best-selling duet of all time. So we can't wait to see her raking the chips at the Ambassador Theatre. Brandy will stay in the clink through June the 21st.
Two of our favorite off-Broadway theater companies announced their new seasons this week. Signature Theater's 25th anniversary season will feature new works by Pulitzer Prize-winning playwrights Annie Baker and Chiara Allegria Hudes. Baker's play John, set in a Pennsylvania B&B and directed by Fun Home's Sam Gold, will start this July, and Hudes' play Daphne's Dive, about regulars at a North Philly bar and directed by Hamilton's Thomas Kail, will bow next April. Meanwhile, Atlantic Theater's 30th season will include the world premiere of David Yazbek's and Itamar Moses' new musical, The Band's Visit, directed by Tony winner Hal Prince, and the New York debut of These Paper Bullets, with music by Green Day's Billy Joe Armstrong. We're excited to see these buzzy new shows.
I'm Michael Cervers, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Pass the vodka, because this week's hotshot brings together the sweeping allure of new musical Dr. Zhivago in one moody romantic photo by Jason Bell. See stars Laura Lee Gayer, Tam Mutu, Kelly Barrett, Tom Hewitt, and Paul Alexander Nolan don their gorgeous costumes in the wintry light of Alder Manor in Yonkers, New York for this photo shoot. Catch these stars as they share the epic tale of passion amid the Russian Revolution at the Broadway Theater, where Dr. Zhivago officially opens on April 21st. Nostrovia.
Brian D'Arcy James may be making him laugh in Broadway's raucous new musical comedy Something Rotten, but on the inside, he's in a Billy Joel state of mind. The Triple Threat tweeted, "Does it get any cooler than quietly whistling the sax solo to Just the Way You Are while waiting in line at Duane Reade to buy plastic cups?" Oh yes, BDJ, way cooler. Have you ever softly hummed I Can Get You in JJ while waiting in line at a stage door for a Brian D'Arcy James autograph? Because we all have, and we're totally cool. Follow this funny guy on stage and off at Brian D'Arcy James.
Wolf Hall Parts 1 and 2, the critically acclaimed UK stage adaptations of Hilary Mantel's award-winning and best-selling novels, will open on April the 9th at the Winter Garden Theatre. The shows chronicle the rise and fall of Thomas Cromwell from blacksmith's boy to Henry VIII's right-hand man. So I recently asked the stars and creative team, if you lived in Tudor times, what job would you want to do? Check out their answers in this week's Pop Poll.
I'd like to be a doctor and have access to antibiotics, and penicillin would be a really good idea, because what we can't get across on stage is the stench and the smell of Tudor England.
I'd probably want to be a man. Yeah, I'd quite like to be a blacksmith.
King of England, probably.
Pink. No question.
Everyone else will be vulnerable to my whim.
King. no, absolutely, King. What's the point of doing anything else?
Thumbs up to Noah Altschuler. Never heard of him? You will. The young writer is poised to take on Broadway with a new adaptation of Mark Twain's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. 17-year-old Noah is already the playwright-in-residence at the Mark Twain House and Museum and the youngest playwright ever featured at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. With his new commission to adapt Twain's classic work, we're expecting big things from this already accomplished high school senior.
This week, we're giving a thumbs down to HBO for canceling the critically lauded, albeit low-rated dramedy Looking. It's hard to argue with the numbers, but we thought the show about a group of gay friends living in San Francisco was a refreshing addition to the TV landscape and got better and better every week. Not to mention, it was great to see stage faves like Jonathan Groff, Russell Tovey, Raul Castillo, and more on a risque cable series. HBO will air a special finale episode to wrap up the current storyline, but we can't help but feel bummed. And we'll miss seeing all those bare bums.
I'm Renee Lee Scoldsbury, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
We need to talk about an Oscar nominee who's currently cooking up a storm with her return to the Great White Way. Her brilliantly nuanced performance, all while preparing a spaghetti bolognese in David Hare's Skylight in London, had critics labelling her the great British stage actress of her generation. The Broadway transfer of the show will open at the Golden Theatre on April the 2nd, and we're sure the praise will be equally lavish. Carey Mulligan, you are our star of the week.
In last week's SmackDown, we asked which star of a musical revival you're excited to hear on a new cast album. On the 20th Century's Kristen Chenoweth or the King and I's Kelly O'Hara. The results are in, and it was a close one, with Kristen taking 53% of the vote. This week, it should have been used, David Burtka tweeted the cutest throwback pic of all time. It's him on a date with younger star Sutton Foster back in 1990. Now we have to ask, who rocked that 90s look better? Burtka and his very special tie, or Foster and her sweet perm? Tweet your vote on this important matter to @BroadwayCom with the hashtag #BWaySmackDown, and tune in next week for the winner.
It's time to reveal your latest top 10 list from Culturalist.com. This week, even though HBO broke our hearts by canceling Looking, the cable network still has a canon of genre-defying can't-miss TV shows that we think would make fascinating musicals. Features editor Lindsay Champion kicked off this week's challenge with Jamais Private Schoolgirl as her top pick, and here's how you guys voted. The Sopranos, Veep, The Newsroom, True Blood, The Comeback, Boardwalk Empire, Girls, Looking, Game of Thrones, and your number one pick, Sex and the City. Check back on Broadway.com this week for a brand new Culturalist challenge.
Thanks for watching another 8 or so minutes of the Broadway.com show. We leave you with a stunning video clip of Chita Rivera and Michelle Ventimiglia performing Love and Love Again from the new musical, The Visit. See you next time.
When the sun seems forever bright, what can dim its light? Love and love alone.